What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aiden, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about what the Chicago Bulls will need to do in order to pick up a big victory against the Miami Heat. Now, at the end of the day, it's still a very joyous occasion for the Chicago Bulls. We picked up a massive comeback victory against the Toronto Raptors that I feel like 99% of the time the Bulls might not be able to complete that comeback. But we did it this time around, and it's going to be edged in Chicago Bulls history. The first ever 10-seeded seed to win a play-in tournament game, and we could have the opportunity to be the first 10-seeded team to advance into the NBA playoffs. There is still more history that could be written for the Chicago Bulls, but there is an obstacle in our way, and their name is the Miami Heat. And I think this is going to be a very hungry Miami Heat team, especially how they lost in their previous game. So we'll talk a little bit about that in this video, what I think the Bulls need to do to win that game. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and whether or not you give them a great chance to beat the Miami Heat team in the second rounds of the play-in tournament. Now, we can't underestimate the schedule as well. We'll be traveling away from Toronto. I think we'll have a day off, and then we'll go and face Miami, whereas Miami has had 2 days off. But I don't think this is going to be a big topic of discussion, because I just think in this type of environment, every team should be ready to go. If you're going to put the schedule as an excuse, no matter how hard the schedule is, I think it's clear as day that that team just doesn't want it enough, and they're not willing to push the extra mile to get that game, I guess, done and dusted. So again, I'm not necessarily going to be blaming the NBA, I guess, scheduling for this. But we have versed Miami 3 times in the regular season, and we have an undefeated record against the Miami Heat. Some people might say that's a positive. I am also one of those people that would consider it a positive, because we have big mismatch advantages against them, which is in our favor. But at the same time, if you beat a team 3 times, there's always that chance that they're going to be willing to beat you that 4th time. You know, it's very hard to beat a team 4 straight times in an NBA season. But again, in a one and done situation, I would throw the regular season out of the way. Look, we had 2 losses against the Toronto Raptors, and in the end, I just feel like at that point in time, we won that game. You throw the regular season out of the window right now. You got to focus on the Miami Heat and what they present at this point in time. But again, to look a little bit further into the regular season, of course, what we saw with Miami is that I think they're a team that's very streaky. I think they can show up at certain times and they can disappear at certain times. That's the first thing. The second thing, their superstars sometimes do not play the way that they should play. And I think that's been a frustrating part of Miami's team all season. Guys like Jimmy Butler plays well for most of the season, but he has games where he struggles. Bam Adebayo, in my opinion, has been the biggest topic of discussion for Miami Heat fans this season. Some games he's amazingly great, fantastic center to have on your team, and others he just extremely disappoints. And of course, if their superstars don't play well, I don't think they have the best supporting cast to support their superstars. So basically what I'm trying to say is, if the superstars play well, expect the rest of Miami's team to play well. But if their superstars fail to deliver, I think they're going to have to rely too much on a cast that I don't know will deliver for the Miami Heat. That's the biggest question. So if you see Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo play well in this game, Miami's going to have a very good chance to win. And out of every team and out of every player that in the play-in tournament or in a Game 7 type of situation, I don't want to be staring Jimmy Butler in the face in that game, because I think he's going to come out with an extreme point to prove. Hopefully, again, he could do us a favor, former Chicago Bull. Maybe, you know, he can have an off game this time out as well. But again, looking at the eyes of someone that I know is a killer in the NBA, in Jimmy Butler, I think at the end of the day, he's going to have a great game. So let's hope we can withstand the other areas and make sure we can have a great game as well. But again, you saw against Atlanta, 1, their 3-point shots were not connecting, no matter who it was that was shooting. Very rarely did you see the 3-point shots connect. And 2, they had to come back in their game like the Bulls had to come back in that game. The difference is the Bulls connected well, and in the end we produced a very good 4th quarter, one of the best 4th quarters we may ever produce in the NBA season. And Miami just simply could not get their comeback completed, which is why they're playing in a second play-in tournament game. So again, it's one of those situations where you look at that game against the Atlanta Hawks if that's the if that's the Miami Heat team that we're going to be seeing against the Chicago Bulls, I would put us in an extremely good position to win the game. Because that Miami Heat team, in my opinion, was not impressive at all. They did not show us anything of significance. In fact, they kind of showed us that maybe they're a team that's potentially getting past their expiry date. But at the end of the day, all of that will be answered if they can beat the Bulls or not. If they can beat the Bulls, go into the playoffs and make a statement in the playoffs by bringing a competition to Milwaukee, well then those questions are not answered. And the fact of the matter is, they are a team to still be watching out for multiple seasons to come. If they're the 7th seed and they get out of the play-in games and they walk out eliminated from the NBA playoffs, NBA play-in, then I think there is a lot of questions about the Miami Heat Stars' futures, including Jimmy Butler, guys like Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, and the rest of the cast. It could be some big changes and big overhauls in their team. But altogether, I think what the Bulls are going to have to do, we have to connect with our three-point shots. In my opinion, the biggest reason why the Bulls went down 19 points and again just absolutely decimated in the first half of that game is that Toronto were making their threes and the Bulls were not. And it was a three-point shooting contest in many ways. The Bulls weren't attacking the paint at all in the first half. It was really Zach LaVine in the third quarter and the fourth quarter that led to the Bulls attacking the paint a lot more. Yes, there were a couple of dunks, of course. Patrick Williams' dunk, DeMar DeRozan's dunk. I'm not saying the Bulls never attacked the paint, but for the most part, it felt like a three-point shooting Chicago Bulls team. It felt fairly stagnant. It just felt like nothing was connecting for us. Even if we were attacking the paint, nothing was connecting for us. I think we're really going to have to really hope we can hit our threes, but we're going to have to continue to attack the paint in the same way. The difference between Toronto and Miami is that Miami are a smaller team. They're not the long, athletic, switchable team that Toronto are. They are a team that's going to primarily be a team that's going to be good from the three-point line. They've got a nice playmaker in Jimmy Butler, who's obviously very good at getting to the line as well. You've got Bam Adebayo, who can be very, very adaptable, switchable, and can also be a player that's very difficult to guard. But they're not as big as the Chicago Bulls would be. So Vucevic would have post advantages there. They should be driving lanes all the way around the Miami Heat. We should be able to attack the paint more easily, I would say, compared to the Toronto Raptors team. But if we can hit our three-point shots, again, it just makes so much more, I would say, interesting, unique, and unpredictable offense. If you can make your three-point shots, guys like Zach LaVine attacking the basket all day long, it could be easier for them. Miami's going to have to guard multiple things. I feel like Miami's going to play a very similar task to how Toronto played. They're going to try and compact the paint, and they're going to try and make the Bulls shoot threes. Guys like Alex Caruso and Patrick Beverley did not contribute anything in the offensive end in the first half of that game against Toronto. And I find it awfully surprising how our biggest comeback of the game happened when Zach LaVine was attacking the basket. Alex Caruso ended up getting 9 points in the second half. Patrick Beverley hit a 3 in the game as well in the fourth quarter. I find it awfully funny how all those things happened and the Bulls came back in the game. I think you're going to have to rely on Alex Caruso and Patrick Beverley to put pressure on the three-point line, put pressure on the Miami Heat, and that will make the game for Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Vucevic easier. But I expect Vucevic in the post. I expect Zach LaVine to attack the basket. I expect DeMar DeRozan to do what he needs to do. I expect guys like Kobe White and Patrick Williams to show up on our bench. I even think guys like Ayo will have a massive impact in this game. I think Ayo will have a much better game this time out than he did against Toronto, and I think he'll get more minutes this time out as well, because the matchups allow for guys like Ayo to have a good game, in my opinion. But it's easier said than done, of course. You expect Miami to play very hard, very physical defensively. You expect them to be a team that's going to be willing to fight. You don't get embarrassed like you do against Atlanta and then retaliate with an even worse performance against Chicago. They're going to come out ready to play this game, and they're going to be playing extremely hard. They're going to want this game. And a guy like Jimmy Butler will always want to get into the NBA playoffs. He has that competitive fight that I feel like is needed for that team to get into the next round. In order of what I think will happen, look, I'm going to back my team to win this game because, again, the history shows it. But I saw this team come back from a 19-point deficit within one quarter to show that they wanted it more in that game. And look, again, 99% of the time we don't make that comeback, but that 1% actually came true. Now again, if we go down by 19 points in this game against Miami, I'm not going to feel confident that we'll come back a second time in a row. I just don't think that's in our nature to do that. But at the end of the day, in this type of environment, we have beaten Miami multiple times. We know we have the mismatches advantages against them. We know our perimeter defense is solid, and I think it was solid against Toronto. If we can provide that same defensive energy in this game against Miami, we make it physical for them just as much as they're going to make it physical for us. I think we have advantages in our scoring. I think we are a better half-court scoring team in terms of we've got DeMar DeRozan who can isolate. We've got Zach LaVine who can attack the basket at will and get to the foul line. We've got Vucevic in the post. In terms of a half-court set game, I think we are better than the Miami Heat. But it all comes down to physicality, who wants it more, the defensive pressure, and all of that could be on Miami's side if we don't show up the way that we know that we can. So that's going to be a big test for the Chicago Bulls, and we'll wait and see what ends up happening in the game. That's my prediction. I think the Bulls have a better chance to win this game, but I wouldn't call it, I guess, easy for sure. And at the end of the day, how many times have Miami lost 2 games in a row? And especially in a game environment like this, it could be difficult. So definitely don't rule Miami out, but I'm going to back my team to win this game. Again, I think I've said it before and I'll say it again. If the Bulls got past Toronto, I think I would have felt confident no matter who we face between Atlanta and Miami, because I think we have mismatches there that we could exploit, both with Miami in their small ball system and the Atlanta Hawks, because they're very pick and roll orientated, and if they're having an off night shooting, we will win that game. So we got Miami, they're a small ball team. Let's see if we can capitalize on that and play our bigger bodies, play bigger with Vucevic, and just see what we can do in that department. But it is what it is, a tough game, and look, we'll see what ends up happening on the night. It could be another situation where we extend our season. It could be another situation where we're going home. It's a do or die scenario for both teams now. Miami will be desperate. The Bulls will be desperate. We'll see who wants it more. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you in the next Chicago Bulls video. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.